You find a beast lurking in the shadows of the valley. But it does not appear to be the one that the Crimson Maiden is searching. It glares at you. Seems you're not getting out of this without a fight. Don't hold back. Fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. Magnificent. Your stance keeps slipping. Gladio hisses at Livia as soon as the final blow's been struck. Sorry, Livia shoots back and resumes scanning the area for monsters. You find a beast huddled in a small burrow in the rock wall. But it does not appear to be the one that the Crimson Maiden is searching for. Nevertheless, it is not happy to have an intruder in its home, and attacks. The party readies for battle. Magnificent. Fortune favors the bold. You did great. You find a beast and immediately raise your sword to it, but it does not so much as flinch. Upon further inspection, it looks like a falling rock or something has crushed the poor creature's life right out of it. It's dead, Lavia says flatly. Lack and Laddie suddenly exhale, hands pressed to their chests in relief. Gladio, sensing an imminent threat, tells everyone to be on their guard. The clanking of heavy chains precedes the appearance of a massive beast. Blood drips from the iron hammers clutched in its fists. The party grips their own weapons ever tighter, fighting their own looming sense of fear. Don't hold back. The maiden launches one last attack as his attendant strikes the beast with the pommel of his sword. At last, the feral fiend falls silent. Lack and Laddie break out into a round of applause, which Lavia greets with a smile and a playful swipe of his nose. We're not done. He binds the beast in chains, hoists it up with one hand, and carries it back toward the Dominion. You never did get to ask about the maiden's relic in the end. You follow them back to Hero's Dominion in hopes of rectifying that oversight. Hero's Dominion. A place so renowned, stories of it reached you across the vast sea. The cries of powerful warriors pierce the air. Though it's impossible, Levia informs you that the Dominion attracts all manner of warriors who long to prove their strength in battle. There are even more than usual, he says, thanks to the tournament that's due to begin soon. The party makes their way to the arena, eager to return the captured monster to its cage. Gladio drops the monster in front of the reception desk with a wet, meaty thud. I felled it, Levia says without hesitation. I expected nothing less, the man behind the desk says with a hearty laugh. It quickly becomes clear, however, that this compliment was intended for Gladio. Levia chafes, but at least the beast has been returned. The party makes its way back out of the arena. What's a runt like you come to the arena for? The warriors sneer in Levia's direction. His blood clearly boiling, Levia spins around on a heel and raises his fist. Say that one more time, he shouts. Fists raised and eyes locked. You can see they'll come to blows any second now. You reckon Levia's no match for his opponent and decide to intervene on his behalf. You call out, and the warrior throws a flurry of fists your way. Thankfully, you anticipated this would happen and managed to dodge them cleanly. The warrior's meaty fist flies toward your abdomen. Your arm instantly meets it in the air, stifling the attack. Having successfully drawn him out far enough, you heave your fist into the warrior. Enough, Gladio barks by way of intervention. Despite picking the fight in the first place, the warriors show no interest in going up against the attendant. They slink off, complaining bitterly as they do so. By all accounts, Livia endures rather crude treatment, despite being a maiden. You snap out of your thoughts when Gladio turns and thanks you for aiding in the monster's capture. He tells Livia to show you to the inn, as if to suggest everyone could use a rest after that fight, and takes his leave. You arrive at the inn, eager to rest. You mention to Livia once more what brings you to the West Isle. You speak of the current state of Omega Isle and how the Maiden's relics are key to saving the island. Livia hears your tale in full, only to politely decline your entreaty. He pauses for a moment, lost in thought. "I'm not the maiden," he confesses rather abruptly. He explains that while it's true he was born into a long line of maidens, he has not been recognized as the maiden on account of being a man. That his mother, the previous maiden, fell in battle, and he has simply been named as maiden to fill the role in the interim. Lack helpfully explains that since Livia is not an official maiden, his relic is no more than an ordinary weapon, and therefore of no help to Laddie. Livia, his confession complete, bids you farewell and walks off. Clearly, the maiden's circumstances are as varied as the islands on which they live. On the desk is a piece of paper, upon which is scrawled a terribly handsome doodle of Lack. Lack floats in the air, its mouth gently opening and closing. You presume it to be asleep. You lift your hands close to its ear and clap once, with vigor. "Explosions! Help! We're all gonna die!" it shrieks, shooting even further into the air. Laddie sits in the chair, head bobbing in a desperate, if futile, struggle against sleep. She's no doubt exhausted from all the fighting. Everyone is plainly spent from a day of fighting. The time has come for rest. "Enter the maiden's match with me," Livia blurts out nonsensically, barreling into your room. "It's a special tournament, and it starts soon," Livia explains breathlessly. "As it happens, they'll select the next maiden from the winners. A fitting festival for the might-obsessed hero's dominion, you think. But will they actually recognize Livia as the next maiden if he wins?" Livia says he simply wants to win the tournament and gaze smugly at all the people who've called him weak over the years. You think back on how the citizens of the Dominion treat Livia. How hard he works at a dangerous occupation, yet receives no respect for it. You can hear the pain of it in his voice every time he speaks. All right, it's a deal, you say. Besides, fighting people from all sorts of different places sounds like fun. When does it? You begin, but Livia cuts you off with an excited, tomorrow. The sun is dazzling on this, the morning of the tournament. The clanking of blades echoes all around you. Let's get to reception quick, Livia chirps as he joins you en route to the arena. Here to pick up a few scars? The man behind the desk asks with a smirk. He begins explaining the rules of the Maiden's match. Participants register in pairs, taking on the roles of maiden and attendant as they fight. Once you're registered, you can go wait in the vestibule, the man explains, gesturing at the far door. Not that one, the receptionist calls out when you attempt to open the door. It seems this vestibule is for your opponents. What do you think you're doing? The crimson attendant's voice stops you in your tracks. Let's go, Livia says as he runs through the door, perhaps presuming that Gladio has no business dictating what he can and cannot enter. Immature brat, Gladio sighs, his helmet hiding his expression from view. Even so, you detect a note of worry rather than fury in his voice. I'll go easy on you, the woman says, brimming with confidence. The man's knees knock together. You reach out to him, concerned. Don't mind me. This is all excitement, he barks, sweating. Laddie seems to be in good spirits. You imagine she'd say, "This ought to be fun." "You know we're going to fight, don't you?" you ask. Laddie turns pale. Clearly, she misunderstood what kind of tournament this was. "We'll show 'em all," Livia shouts, psyching himself up for the fight. The ringleader's voice echoes off the stone walls of the lobby. Onward to battle. All right. Time to show these jerks what you can do. And fight. Magnificent. You're not the worst I've fought, the woman says, still exuding confidence. My quarrel is not with you, the man says coolly, his trembling knees betraying his outwardly calm demeanor. Levia wipes the sweat from his brow as you approach. You greet him, and he leaps back with a yelp. Don't sneak up on me like that, he snaps, with no small amount of embarrassment. Ah, youth. Awkward youth. Laddie can hardly contain her excitement at having won. You can tell because she's looking up at the sky, furiously punching the air above her head. Okay, the only way out is through. Teamwork makes the dream work. The man hangs his head in shame, having lost in battle. For reasons beyond your understanding, his legs are still shaking. I went easy on you, the woman seethes, remaining strong even in defeat. Buckle up, Buttercup, Lack shouts for some reason at Laddie, who is drained from the consecutive battles. If we win this next fight, that's it, Livia says in quiet awe. Let's wipe those smug looks off everyone's faces, you say by way of encouragement. Yeah, Livia shouts in response. The ringleader announces the final battle. There's no turning back now. Who else should be waiting for you in the final round but the Crimson Attendant? Despite this being a team event, he's battled his way to the final round all by himself. Do your worst, he bellows, striking an intimidating pose. Don't need to tell me twice, Lavia barks back, gripping his sword for dear life and fixing his gaze upon his attendant. This fight won't be anything like the others. Teamwork makes the dream work. Fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. The powerful attendant bears down with all his might, but Lavia holds firm. As the pair struggle, a section of the arena wall suddenly blows apart. A familiar beast emerges from the dust and the rubble. One you swear you saw in chains but a day ago. Whipped into a frenzy, the beast whirls a hammer over its head and charges you. Magnificent. Fortune favors the bold. It has been a brutal struggle. The beast's knees buckle ever so briefly. There's time for our special attack. The Crimson Maiden and his attendant bellow in unison. You did great. The Crimson Maiden and his stalwart attendant's attack slays the beast. Gladio at last acknowledges the strength hidden within Levia and recognizes him as an equal. Use that strength to fulfill your destiny, Gladio says with the air of a proud father seeing his own son off on an adventure. Levia prepares to address the raucous crowd. He places a hand to his chest, gathers himself for a moment, and begins his speech. He tells of his history with Gladio, who trained him ever since he was a young boy and raised him in place of his departed mother. Gladio taught him the true meaning of strength, so he could one day fulfill the maiden's destiny. And now that his strength has been universally recognized, Levia tells the crowd it is time to reveal a truth that he has kept well hidden. Levia is in fact a woman, and thus the rightful successor to the Crimson Maiden. I, Levia, swear to protect this land as its rightful maiden. She raises her relic to the sky. It begins to shine with a light to rival the sun overhead. Levia, the Crimson Maiden by name and birthright, basks in the glory her people rain down upon her. Her small frame shows no sign of buckling under the immense responsibility that is now upon her. At last, she looks ready. Levia is mobbed by a heaving crowd of admirers. Seeing as they're bound to keep her busy for some time, and surmising that there will be other opportunities to borrow the relic, you decide to depart Hero's Dominion. The whole Dominion celebrates the selection of the new maiden. You spot the man bouncing from reveler to reveler, spoiling for the fight you denied him earlier. I never dreamt anyone would defeat that awful beast, the woman says, visibly shaking in awe of the Crimson Maiden's power. What a lovely day. The new maiden is among us. The woman dances about, waving her knife in the air. You pray no one gets hurt. The man complains bitterly that he won't be able to sleep for all this revelry. Overjoyed at the Crimson Maiden's advent, the woman rips her notebook to confetti and scatters it to the wind. I'm gonna apprentice with the maiden, the man bellows. He drops to the ground and manages a mere 10 push-ups before collapsing in exhaustion. You bid the Dominion farewell as the sun dyes the sky a deep red in celebration of the maiden's victory. The voice belongs to none other than the Crimson Maiden herself, guardian of the West Isle. She approaches you, serene and calm as can be. Who is this person? Acknowledging your friendship forged in the crucible of battle, she hands the maiden's relic to Laddie. On the condition that should she become a maiden, Laddie must visit the Dominion and return the relic. Livia gives a hearty wave as you push off from shore. Why would the Crimson Maiden, whose biggest wish has just come true, be crying? No, no, no. Her face must be catching the light of the setting sun. Yes, that's why her eyes look so red. Laddie gazes out at the horizon from the deck of the ship as it rolls over the waves. The Crimson Maiden became a maiden in the end. You reckon Laddie takes out her book and scribbles something inside, which she then shows to you. Apparently, Laddie's mother was the previous maiden of the village. There might be some clues as to how to become a maiden in the personal effects she left behind. Her proposal is as big as her handwriting is small. You nod firmly and cut the rudder in the direction of Omega Isle. Lack claps you on the shoulder, saying, "You could do with a rest here and there yourself." It then starts to chant some kind of spell. Lack casts a spell on the ship, and suddenly, the sails unfurl and the wheel begins to turn without any assistance. It explains that your ship can now travel to any island you've already visited on its own. You've never seen Lack look so smug with itself, and that's saying something.